Salutations, mortals, and children of the night. I'm the Vampire Otaku, and in this video, I want to switch it up a little bit. I love Power Rangers, I love Super Sentai, I love Kamen Rider, all things tokusatsu. And I just wanted to take the time out to show my appreciation to the entire genre and also just how far it has come throughout the years and how much I enjoy it. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So this is a manga-based channel, and books as well, vampires. So before I talk about these helmets and the other things that I have to show you, let's talk about some manga. So we have Kamen Rider Kuga, very cool. So Kamen Rider, translated into English, Mask Rider. They're similar to Power Rangers and they have a few crossovers as well, but they're more of a standalone kind of thing where they don't really work with teams. They just have themselves and maybe one other partner, but they're very similar. In my opinion, I believe Kamen Rider are more powerful than their Super Sentai counterparts. And you have Ultraman and the list goes on, and they're all kind of in the same universe, but that's one manga. We don't have this manga available in English quite yet, but the anime called Love After World Domination is really funny, really cute, and it takes the idea of Super Sentai and kind of spins it on its head. I highly recommend watching that if you're into romance or if you're into Super Sentai like me, or if you just want something different to watch in the anime department. But we don't have the manga of that right now, so that makes me sad. We do, however, have the manga of Go-Go Loser Ranger. This just got an anime adaptation. It's really good. It's really funny. I believe it's from the same maker as Quintessential Quintuplets. I could be wrong. The art is really good. Let me show you some of that real quick. The premise of this story is basically the good guys, the Power Rangers or the Super Sentai, are actually the bad guys. They're not great people. And the bad guys, like the putties or whatever you want to call them, they're not good either, but they're not bad. They're just living their lives. And I'm trying to figure out why the Power Rangers in this series are bad and what their motives are. Very good so far. Next, I purchased the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider. It's a beautiful hardcover, very thick boy, very heavy, good quality. Haven't read it yet. Not sure when I'm going to read it, but I absolutely will and I absolutely want to. Next, we have the first Super Sentai series, Go Ranger. Very first group. I watched some of it. It's very good. I just love the classic. It's kind of like watching classic kung fu movies. Like the sound effects, the visuals. It's so nostalgic. I'm nostalgic for a time that I wasn't even born in. It's like the 70s and 80s. This particular Go Ranger is in the 80s, so it still has that 70s feel. The hairstyles, the vehicles that they used, the sound effects, really cool stuff. And if you've never watched Power Rangers in Japanese, the Super Sentai versions, I highly recommend them, especially if you grew up on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. In Japanese, it's called Zyuranger, and that's spelled Z-Y-U and then Ranger. A couple of spoilers. The Green Ranger and the Red Ranger are brothers in that series, which is super cool. And it's a lot darker than the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that you might be used to. For like a millennial like me, or even a Gen Z, I'm sure you guys have watched Power Rangers as well. With that being said, I do believe that Super Sentai is a little bit more entertaining than Power Rangers, just because of the history, the lineage. There's just a lot less. It's a lot less for them to make. It's very easy for them to put their stories together. They don't have to adapt to anything. It's just the original source material. Whereas Power Rangers, some of their material is based off the Japanese counterpart, and some of it they made up. Like the White Ranger in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show actually belongs to a different squad of Power Rangers or Super Sentai members, but they threw him into the show last minute because I guess they had trouble getting the rights for the series that came after Zyuranger. So convoluted issues, but it still worked. The White Ranger, really awesome. All right, with that being said, before I show you the helmets, gotta flex a little bit. So I have this Black Ranger figure signed by Walter Jones. Very cool. Fun fact, I'm from Detroit and he is too. So we bonded over that. That was really cool. And rest in peace. My little picture, I'm dressed up as Gokai Silver, or an English Super Mega Force Silver. And that is the man, the legend. Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. All right, we have 1993. I don't even remember what they called these, but for the sake of this video, I will say the Blaster. Really cool. Kind of changes shapes. Very fun stuff. This is a newer one. This is the Legacy Morpher. It's made out of actual metal. Very heavy, very high quality. And it comes with multiple coins. Black Ranger is my favorite, so Mastodon stays in there. All right, let's talk about my favorite Ranger. My favorite Ranger of all time is Time Force Quantum Ranger. The Quantum Ranger is hands down my favorite. He's also the voice actor for Virgil in Devil May Cry. Awesome guy. Unfortunately, the helmet that I own needs a new visor, but this is made by Aniki. You can find him on Facebook. Very high quality stuff. A little pricey, but you know, you kind of get what you pay for. I love that Power Ranger so much. He's like the second Red Ranger in the series. He's kind of the anti-hero. I've always loved the anti-heroes. He's just so cool. Here's his Morpher. So he can summon the Q-Rex and his gun, which really turns into a sword. I remember how to do it. Yeah, there we go. So, like slicing up the enemies. Very fun. Another flex, we have the Black Ranger helmet. It's a little beat up. It's the first helmet that I've ever purchased. Also signed by the Black Ranger. Very cool. Now there were two Black Rangers. Later on, the second Black Ranger that replaced Walter Jones was the voice actor of Ichigo. Very cool, Johnny Young Bosch. Another awesome voice actor and just awesome person in general. And what else do we have here? Let's talk about some Super Sentai. It's before Power Rangers. I think this was the late 80s. This is Golgo 5. I just love the jewels in their helmets. It's very intricate style and detail. This has what they call the action visor. So it's weird to see through. Not my favorite. Kind of wish it was just a black visor, like sunglasses or something like that. But very breathable and just a really cool style. Love the paint on it too. Next, this is from Dino Thunder. This is the last Power Ranger that Jason David Frank was officially on the show. I love this style. It has a handle. Kind of reminds me of a GameCube a little bit. In the Japanese version of the show, this guy in the show has like a family and kids. So whenever he goes out to fight crime, it's like like leaving his kids behind. Cute. I really like this helmet a lot. I love the style. I love the whole beetle aspect. It's like the extra rangers. His partner in the show, the Blue Ranger as well. Very cool. Hurricane is the name of this one. I love the back of it. Really gives you that ninja vibe. Very cool stuff. I love the paint color. It's like a just different kind of red. It has such a nice shine to it. Next, and this is his morpher. Very cool stuff. If I press a button, bam, they open up just like a beetle. And the show, the spins, looks super cool. I love the little details. Next, we have Lost Galaxy. This show is really fun to me. I really enjoyed the Japanese version and the English version. In the Japanese version, this Red Ranger and the Extra Ranger, Magnum Defender, were brothers. Really cool. Kind of represents a lion. I love the paint. This wasn't made by Aniki. I forgot who made this helmet. Some of my helmets aren't made by Aniki and some are like other people. I got these helmets like probably almost 10 years ago. It's been a while since I purchased a helmet. I don't have any Kamen Rider helmets, so that's definitely something in the future that I'd like to get. I have a little sword. And when I say little, I mean it. It's a very small sword. It's got the little line in the middle. I don't know if you can see that very well. It lights up. It's got a little speaker on the back. It's a really cool toy. And my last helmet, probably one of my favorites, Gokai Silver, or Super Mega Force Silver. This helmet is massive. I actually have a pretty small head, so I have a lot of room in here. This helmet's heavy, and seeing through it, I see through it really well, but my line of sight is a little weird, so when I wear it, when I cosplay, my head kind of looks up often. I really enjoyed this Super Sentai. This show is one of my favorites, Gokaiger. They're like space pirates. They're all in their way anti-heroes, which is super cool. And the Extra Ranger, the Silver Ranger, he's just a big fan of all Super Sentai. And I relate to that. Even though he has powers and, you know, he's a Super Sentai member himself, he just has so much love and respect for all the Super Sentai members that came before him. He's a fanboy through and through, and I can relate to that. Like, he's getting other Rangers autographs and just happy to see them. He's super excited about what he does and who came before him, and I really like that about his character. He also looks a little bit different from everybody else in his team. He uses different weapons. His gun also becomes like an axe or something like that. It's just sick. It's like all the Rangers use different keys. These Rangers have the ability to become other Rangers, so that's really cool. I love that this Ranger can become this Ranger, so that's pretty cool. Basically every other 6 Ranger or Extra Ranger, Gokai Silver can become. This is his morpher. It's like a super cool cell phone. See if I can get it open. Yeah, there we go. So you put the keys inside and you press the number and voila, he becomes a different Ranger. All right, so that's basically all of my Power Ranger stuff. I have a few figures and whatnot, and I think I have a Zord laying around somewhere, but that's basically it. I really enjoy Super Sentai and Power Rangers. The animes and mangas do them justice really well. The comic books are great. I enjoyed the Power Ranger movie. If you haven't heard of Kamen Rider or Super Sentai, check it out on YouTube. You'll see a lot of stuff before you were born or when you were born in the 80s or you know, new stuff that's happening right now. It's been around and it hasn't taken a break. It's one of the most consistent, I guess, genres that I've ever known. It's one of the most consistent shows, really. You know, it's like on some Sesame Street type stuff. Or One Piece. One Piece has been consistent, but that's like 96 versus the 80s. I like JoJo. JoJo has been around since the 80s. Very consistent. It's moved like congruently with the times. Like JoJo, when it started, it looked like Fist of the North Star, and now it's its own thing. The art style is completely unique to itself. Same thing with Super Sentai. The powers, the styles, like they went from looking like 80s and early 90s kung fu actors to looking like K-pop boy band members. It evolves with the times, but never loses its charm and its accessibility. Like children can watch it, adults can watch it. Me being, you know, almost 34 years old, I can go back, really enjoy the nostalgia, and then I can also watch the new stuff and enjoy how everything has changed and yet still stayed the same. So, thank you for listening to me ramble about my love of Power Rangers. And if you have a favorite Power Ranger, or if you've never checked out Super Sentai or Kamen Rider, let me know in the comments below, and I would love to talk to you about it, because obviously I made like almost a 20-minute video about it, so I love it, and I don't think I'll ever get tired talking about it, because it's just something that has stood the test of time and it's stayed consistently good. So with that being said, thank you so much. If you feel like it, subscribe. Trying to get to 500 and be kind of dope. Onward and beyond. Peace.